Hi, loves. A gentle heads up before you listen to this one. In this episode, we have an honest conversation about our body image, dieting, and disordered eating, including some of our own personal experiences. We know these topics can be really personal and may feel difficult for some people. So if this isn't the right time for you to listen, that's completely okay. Please look after yourself in whatever way feels right, whether it's taking a break, skipping this episode, or coming back to it another day. Our hope with this conversation is to create a space that feels open, supportive, and reminds you that you're never alone in what you're feeling.
Welcome to the Lean In podcast, where we talk about everything from health, wellness, business, and all of the personal things.
But first, we need a little disclaimer. This podcast is for education and entertainment purposes only. It is not for personalized medical advice.
Okay, welcome back, everyone. This week on the Lean In podcast, we are diving into body image.
Amazing. And relationship with food.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me, Em, have you always had a positive relationship with food and body image?
Oh, definitely not. I would
That's a big
say-
fat no.
And that's a no. No, I think, as a woman,
It's almost a prerequisite.
it's you're out the womb and it's a struggle, I think especially being raised in like the late 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah. Skinny was trending.
Lord help us. It was diet culture from the very beginning. I think it was so natural. It was so normal.
Almost like
it was
ingrained.
everywhere. It was all through the magazines, through media. You just consumed it constantly and it felt so normal. So yeah, I definitely think, unfortunately, which is really sad to think now, it's been something that I have been really aware of since I was a kid.
Yeah.
What about you?
It's definitely something I have struggled with as well. Not so much when I was younger, more so when I hit uni. I feel like for me, it kind of became a way to like manage my stress, which sounds a little bit strange. I think when I first started studying, so I was actually studying to be a nurse and I was actually living on uni campus and I was partying heaps. And then with that, I think just came like a lot of bad food. So I actually gained a lot of weight. Like I was a little bit chubby. And I actually still remember this coming home once and my mum actually weighing me and asking if I was like happy with that number. And like at the time it wasn't triggering, but I think it was just like a bit of a realization. Anyway, then I started studying to be a naturopath and I think with that came obviously learning more about food and health and I went through a pretty hectic vegan phase. Then when I started really cleaning up my diet, I started to lose a fair bit of weight and I started getting a lot of comments about my weight like, oh my God, T, you're looking so good, you've lost weight. Like, wow, you're looking amazing. And then I kind of just felt like that praise just really like triggered something in my brain. And then I almost like associated weight loss with looking good. And I feel like at the time I didn't realize how bad things were. But when I reflect back on it, I had some weird things I was doing with food. Hey, it was pretty hectic.
Isn't it? Like
almost
I don't
embarrassing.
say funny, but it's kind of like, what the hell was I doing?
So many rules around food. Like I never used to eat breakfast. I would only eat lunch and it was like there was no protein in it at all. And then like sometimes I'd even skip dinner. I was like running 10Ks a day, sometimes weighing myself like 3 or 4 times a day.
Same.
And like if it wasn't a certain number, it would dictate if I'd have like a good day or a bad day. But if it was like under the number I wanted it to be, I was like stoked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really sad, isn't it? I think if I think about where I sort of started to really become aware of it for myself, I started out in the fitness industry as a personal trainer and it was very common, very normal to track everything, weigh everything. I remember you doing the pinch test to do your MyFitnessPal.
Oh gosh. 1,500 or 1,200 calories.
I know. I was like, I'm
mental.
a 12-year-old girl. Like what the hell? But it was very common, as I was saying, to control everything. So weigh all your food, track your food, weigh yourself, track everything. Everything was tracked and it just was pretty normal to me because that's what you were doing. That was of the time, But when it got pretty severe for myself, I started intermittent fasting and not coming for intermittent fasting. It works for some people. It works probably better for men. But I started intermittent fasting and it started off pretty innocent. It was more just around I thought it was a healthy thing to do. I thought I was healing things and it felt like it was the right thing to do. And then obviously when you start intermittent fasting, you drop weight so quickly. And I went from just a normal size, healthy, fit girl, and then I dropped about 5 kilos, which is a lot for someone who didn't need to lose weight in the first place, sorry. But then it kind of got, and it just snowballs, you start to get that praise from people. Oh my God, you look so good. And then you're feeding that beast of like, okay.
The
I like
restriction
this.
almost feels like you're achieving something.
Yeah.
And I think too, when you do like achieving things, it can just really unlock something in your brain. And like, I'm not sure if you experienced this, but when I was going through like ED stuff, it was almost like I had this little voice inside my head. And it almost feels like your friend. Like it's so weird. I'm like, am I freaking schizophrenic?
Yeah, literally.
I am having a conversation with myself.
But I think also it can come down to a bit of a control thing. So at that point when it sort of manifested and began, it seemed to be more just around, okay, aesthetically I feel good, like I feel really lean, da-da-da. But then it got a bit more sinister in the point where I was going through a few heavy things. I was unhappy in a relationship. I was going through COVID, lockdown in Victoria, and everything in my life felt out of control. I felt so out of control. I felt so depressed. That was the only thing I could control. I can control what I'm putting in my body. I can control the way I look.
Yeah.
And
how little that you're eating.
Yeah. And it's so sad to think about how much my life was passing me by. All I can think about is like food noise, waking up, thinking about what I'm not going to eat.
Yeah.
And it just takes all of the happiness, all of the joy out of life when you're so focused on yourself and what you're not putting into your body. It's an awful cycle to be in for sure.
Yeah. What are some things that you did that kind of like helped you to break that cycle?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I think it's nice to kind of acknowledge that we went through that, but we want to talk about the other side of it and how good it feels and there are ways out of it.
Freedom, to not
have
think
freedom,
like, I'm absolutely starving, but I can't eat till 12 o'clock.
Yeah. I think a few things had happened, and I'm not going to sit here and say it's perfect. Like I wouldn't say that I'm perfectly healed from it. It's still something that probably rears its head a little bit, but I feel much more
in control of it or managed.
It's beside me now. It's not a part of my life. It's like I identify that. It's like a feeling. I know when, what can kind of trigger it sometimes. I think kind of changing my mindset around training and nutrition and things like that. You cannot run a marathon when you're starving yourself.
Yeah.
I mean, some people might be able to. I cannot.
Would personally pass out.
And if you are dating Jack Cullinane, who loves to cook, he's not going to let you eat his dinner. Like he's loading me up. He's like, is that enough? Do you want more? I was like, is that for a linebacker? Like who's eating that food? That's so much food. So I think reframing my mind around how to support the training I'm doing to fuel myself to train, not to train as a punishment or train to lose weight or train to be a smaller version of myself. I think reframing that and training, doing marathons and things like that is just really, it gave me a whole new purpose to my routine, I think. So yeah, fueling my body for exercise was such a big thing. And also I think, and everyone's going to have a different, I guess, coming to realization moment with this, but I had to sit myself down and say, this is disorder. This is not normal what you're doing. And it's hiding in the shadows. It's something that you're doing behind closed doors. And I didn't feel good about it. I didn't want to tell people what I was doing. So I knew, okay, do you feel proud of this? Like, do you feel good about this? And I opened up to Jack about it and I told him, and it was so helpful because I didn't feel like I was hiding this side of myself. I just felt like, oh, can someone else take the load of this mental weight in my brain from me and help me through this as well?
And I do feel like too with eating disorders, there is a lot of secrecy. And as soon as something does have secrecy, it has power over you because you're not willing to share it with other people, and it comes almost like a coping strategy as well.
Yeah. I think as well, getting a little bit older, I guess you're not so evolved. Like I don't really care about being the skinniest person, the best looking person, whatever in the room. I'm like, I don't care. Like you just don't care the older
You
you
more
get.
so value to have like good energy and feel
Yeah.
stable in your nervous system and be able
Yeah.
to go and enjoy the wine and chippies with the girls without being like, oh no, I can't make it.
Yeah, exactly. And I think about all of my friends and the people I love. I don't love them because they're skinny. I don't love them because they wear a size 6. I don't give a shit about what they look like. So why do I feel like I need to be that?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah,
I
I could
think,
not agree more.
reframing your mindset. And also you would be the same. You know, in a way I am a role model, or I am someone that people are looking to for guidance. I'm a friggin' trainer. I'm a trainer and I'm a Pilates instructor. People are coming to me for advice. They are coming to me to learn from me. What the hell am I teaching them if I can't even take that into my own life? So I think as well, developing the strengths course at work and doing these things that are so I'm presenting something to someone, I'm like, I'm a fraud. If I can't even take care of myself, what am I doing?
Yeah, nice to focus on like strong, not skinny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think it was very healing kind of thinking about how do I want to represent myself and how do I want to show up for younger people, my nieces and my nephews and younger people that are coming to my classes. Do I feel really authentic and do I feel like I'm presenting what I'm telling them to do and how to treat themselves?
Yeah, I'm not sure if you went through this, but I know for me, when I was like in that restriction mentality, it almost kind of flipped for me and actually then turned into like more of a binge as well, which was really, really challenging because I felt like I was then losing control. And then with the binges came like some coping strategies that we really don't need to get into, but I feel like the biggest thing that helped me was therapy. And I feel like therapy just taught me so much as well and just allowed me to identify that I was controlling food as a coping strategy. And in therapy, she taught me about exposure therapy, which was something that was really, really helpful for me because I felt like I had these like naughty foods that really weren't naughty foods. It was actually quite random things like peanut butter or like tahini or like dark chocolate coated nuts. And as soon as I would have those foods, it was just like all or nothing. And I would just eat them in like extremely large quantities and then just like feel so sick afterwards and just have so much like negative self-talk because I felt like I lost control. And something that I found really helpful with that was actually having a little bit of these foods every single day, which was so scary when the therapist recommended it to me. But I kind of knew if I didn't seek help from someone else, I wasn't able to control it myself. Something I also found really helpful was reading this book called Brain Over Binge. And it kind of just allowed me to understand like that mechanism behind the brain of like why we kind of like override it and we have these food seeking behaviors. It was really interesting, but exposure therapy definitely helped because by having these foods every single day, they were no longer a naughty food. They were actually just an everyday food. And then it no longer had this control over me where I'd eat half a jar of peanut butter or like a whole block of chocolate or a whole bag of macadamia nuts and then just like friggin' hate myself afterwards. Another thing I found really helpful was the therapist actually suggested wearing loose clothing. So this was really good because I was quite skinny. Like I was probably a good 8 kilos lighter than what I am now. And then that phase of regaining weight, because I'd also lost my period as well, felt really, really uncomfortable. And I just kind of feel like a lot of my clothes just almost allowed me to body check. So she actually suggested wearing quite like loose fitting clothing. And I mean,
which we're loving that now.
Literally, I was going to say, even if like you look at my style, girls are always like, oh my God, I love your style. And I pretty much wear like a lot of boys' clothes too. But it kind of came from a coping strategy where the loose clothing just allowed me to have less head noise when I was gaining weight. And then it just kind of eventually turned into my style. Something else I found really helpful as well is the therapist kind of taught me that I don't have to eat everything on my plate. So I actually intentionally leave a little bit of food behind every single time I eat. And it's just kind of become a habit. Like I don't even really know that I'm doing it anymore. And it's funny because when I was dating someone, they're like, oh, you never finish your dinner. And it kind of like reminded me, I'm like, wow, it's like a coping strategy I've probably had for like the last 8 to 10 years, but it always reminds me you can have more tomorrow. You don't need to finish everything. If you're full, you don't need to overeat, which I found like really, really helpful with the binge eating.
Yeah, that's really good advice. I think as well, something to touch on with like clothing and things like that. I found myself getting into a little bit of a trap of praising people. Like, oh God, you look so fit. You look so – because I was training people. I was looking at their bodies. I could see their transformations. But I noticed someone said to me once that they were struggling with an eating disorder and they were really focused on praise, and you could say, oh my God, you look good, you look amazing every single day, and then the one day you forget to say it, or you're just like, hey babe, how are you? And they just walk in and they're like, we shouldn't say anything about my body. I must look like shit today. Or I must look like I've put on weight. Or your brain does crazy things when you're in this really, I guess, inflamed state of, fear, and you're so in it that the things that people say or don't say, they're not even realizing it. They don't think, like, I see my friends, I'm like, you look the same to me every day. You look amazing. But when you're so in that state, you're waiting to get that praise. Like, okay, I'm doing the right thing. So one thing I really tried to implement into my life, and I guess you can't change the whole world, but you can change your world. So if we all try to change the narrative and the way that we talk about female bodies is really important. So I really try to, and I'm not perfect at it, but try to compliment people on something they can take off, or it's not a part of their body. So I love the way you laugh, or I really love those earrings, or that color looks so nice on you, or things that are not body related, I think is really
that
helpful.
Praise related, that's going to feed.
Yeah, it's like,
that
oh my
brain.
gosh, your outfit looks so cool today, or love this or that, but it's got nothing to do with their body. And just shifting away from the way people look and going back to their value. What are you adding? Because we're in a world where we're online, and don't even get me started about the comparison. But yeah, it's a really difficult place to be, and I'm really glad that I am going through this at an older age, like into my 30s, with the rise of social media.
Would be challenging being in that younger generation. Like I know when I was consulting a lot, I actually used to ask every single client that came into the clinic, how's your relationship with food? And I feel like at the beginning it can be a really uncomfortable conversation to have, because it's not like you're at coffee with your girlfriend being like, how's your relationship with food going? Tell me what's happening. But I feel like it should be discussed, like how we talk about our periods, or like how we talk about our energy. And because it is such a taboo topic, it gives secrecy, which then obviously gives the power. When I was consulting a lot, I actually went and did an eating disorder training course, and I just found that so interesting and so valuable. I think too, when you've gone through something yourself, and I know when I first went into therapy, I saw a therapist that wasn't experienced with eating disorders, and it almost made me feel like more shame around it, because they just didn't know how to ask the right questions about it. And then I went and saw someone that was a little bit more specialized and found it like very, very helpful. So I think it kind of just taught me as a practitioner, this is something I want to feel comfortable talking about, and I want to make my clients feel comfortable in the room, and we have these really vulnerable conversations rather than just kind of like skimming over it and trying to focus on something else.
Yeah, that's so true. It does feel like still quite a taboo thing to comment or ask around body image and your relationship with food. But I do agree that it helped me to just normalize it and get it out on the table. And then now when I'm feeling it creep back into my mind, I just say, Jack, it's one of those weeks where I'm just not feeling great about things. And then he just knows how to bounce off that and how to, okay, what can we do to make this feel better? Can we do this or that?
Yeah, I love that. What type of things do you feel like can like trigger it for you or like flare it up?
I think it's hard because it could just be anything. Like it could be what phase of my cycle I'm in. Am I feeling run down or fatigued? And then you just start to, I guess, zone in on that negativity. You're like, I probably have a fairly unique situation where I'm constantly being filmed. I film workouts, so I'm staring at myself moving. I'm looking at my body from 3 different angles. It's probably a bit unnatural. So I do find when I just do feel a little bit out of control, if I'm feeling a bit stressed, or it usually has nothing to do with actually eating in my body. It's more external pressures if I'm feeling a bit stressed or run down or a little bit overwhelmed. I feel like when I'm feeling really confident, I don't even think about my body.
Yeah, I love that.
At the moment,
not
I'm
at the front of mind.
Yeah, I'm having so much fun. I've got a lot of things to look forward to. I feel like I'm in such a good place where I remember when thinking about traveling when I was really
God,
in the
isn't
depths
it
of it.
crazy?
You're
how
like,
you
okay,
just feel like
so
you have to shred before
where
the
can
travel trip.
or that you're shredding, but then also thinking, okay, when am I going to eat? When am I going to do this? Whereas now I just go to the airport, I'm like, what do I feel like eating? Like, it's so freeing to just not give a shit.
That food freedom, it like needs to be studied because it is just such a good feeling.
I was like, is this
where
what
you can
boys feel like?
eat the hot chippies and just not have the head noise afterwards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think on the other side of what, if you are going through this at the moment, on the other side of that is true freedom. Honestly, being able to enjoy food is so much more than the taste of food. It's the relationships you build around going out for dinners and going out for drinks and cooking with your family or cooking with your partner. There's so much to that. And that's why it does make me feel really sad about, and we won't get into this today because this is such a bigger conversation, but people who are using GLP-1s for cosmetic weight loss.
Yeah.
I just feel so worried for young girls who are
especially too because they're so accessible.
Yeah. And just, you know, coming back to that comparison and we're not doing this for the male gaze, but it's so interesting when you do, I guess, because I talk to Jack about it so much and you listen to their.
But they actually love girls with a little bit of muscle or like a little bit thicker and like, but as a girl, it's just like you're convinced I need to be a size 6 to be attractive to a male.
Yeah. And it's couldn't be further from the truth.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess it's not always about the male gaze and trying to impress men. But I mean, on a larger scale, that's what has been ingrained to us in society is the smaller you are, the more value you have. But I stand by your dream body is not your fucking dream body if it's a nightmare to maintain.
Oh, exactly.
If it is the thing you think about when you wake up and go to bed, it's not your dream body. That's not it.
It is not it, girl.
No.
Not it
Put
at
that on
all.
a t-shirt. But yeah, I think it's not something that goes away overnight. It definitely takes time.
I think too you can also have like different triggers as well. Like I know I was actually at a wedding last year and my ex, he was with me at the wedding and he was like showing the girl that was sitting opposite us a picture of Wilma because she was showing us a picture of her dog. And then when he brought his phone back, he like swiped to the photo next to it and he was like to me, oh, back in the day when you used to be fit. And it was like a photo of me at the beach. And I was like, oh, what is that supposed to mean? And he was just like, well, you're getting fatter and I'm getting hotter. I'm like, are you kidding?
What world is this man living in?
I know. And I was like, oh, it's like I'm actually feeling pretty good at the moment. And he was just like, well, your dress was pretty hard to zip up. It actually was very hard. It was like a corset dress.
You're
and
like,
I was like
yeah,
having to like
get
suck it in. But then like after that, it just like replayed in my brain and just like thought looped. And it's pretty crazy how quickly that can trigger back
just
up.
send you on a spiral.
Oh, absolutely. But then I think it's like really important to do that therapy because I feel like I kind of had the tools to then talk myself out of it rather than get consumed in it again and just like let that narrative play through. Because I think too, when you do have that voice inside your head, it is important to just control it and be like, I'm not going to listen.
Yeah. I do find I am able to turn things around a lot quicker than I used to. So when I say that I don't feel completely like separate to it, it still lives within me. I do feel that though I'm much easier able to turn things around really quickly. Like just because I had a really big and probably an unhealthy dinner last night does not mean you don't need breakfast the next morning. You still need to eat. Like you're not going to gain 5 kilos from the dinner last night. It doesn't work like that. Okay. So I think the turnaround of pulling myself out of that negative mindset really quickly, I do note, and there are things that build up and you notice like, okay, was I on my phone every morning when I wake up this week? Coincidentally, I feel like shit. Okay, well, as much as you love her, waking up, having one eye open and staring at Dua Lipa at 5 o'clock in the morning, probably didn't make you feel good.
It was wedding week, girl.
It was wedding week. Okay, so give me grace. But waking up and the first thing you consume is other people's bodies on their Euro summer holidays while you're here in winter. Like those things, those things are not going to help you. We know that there are steps you can take. So, all right, if I'm feeling like I'm tipping back into those old patterns, if I'm feeling one of those days, okay, get up, phone at home, we're going for a walk.
Yeah, love that.
And I'm going to look around. I know it sounds so simple and so cheesy, but I go for a walk and I go down to the beach and I look around. I'm like, what am I grateful for? Grateful for my job. I'm grateful for my home. I'm grateful for my dog. All of those things have nothing to do with the way I look.
Yeah, that's so
That
true.
does
I
not
love
matter
that.
if I'm 1 kilo heavier or not. Those things are there. They are real and they're going to make me feel better.
Yeah, love that. I feel like journaling is also like a really, really good tool, and just like checking in and actually writing down pen to paper. How do I feel about food? How do I want to feel about food? What changes do I need to make to then have those feelings? And I think too, we can get so consumed by the thoughts in our head, and it almost feels like too big and we don't know where to start. But then if we write things down pen to paper, we can have that little action plan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think as well, just we're better in numbers. When we all know, when you start to talk, and you'd be hard pressed to find someone who hasn't had these
when I
feelings
used
at some
to
point in
ask
life.
girls in the clinic, it's probably 90% of girls bad relationship with food.
Yeah.
So common. So I think too, even if you are listening to this podcast, like text one of your friends and ask them, how's your relationship with food? I just wanted to check in and see how things are going. Or next time you're on coffee date with your friend, ask them about their relationship with food.
Yeah.
And just like really start to open up this conversation.
Yeah, I think that's so important, because it's almost like a problem shared is a problem halved. If you know you're not alone, like a lot of people do have these feelings, but the more you can talk about them, the less scary or overwhelming it feels to kind of move past that point of feeling like it's just this secret I have and this way of life that I'm living that I don't want anyone to know about. I think, yeah, it's really important, that transparency, where it's not hard, it's not easy to do, and it might take time and it can be really daunting or overwhelming, or you might still be in this mindset of, no, I'm fine, because I was like that for ages. I was like that for years and I would not address it. And if people tried to call me out on what I was doing, because I was intermittent fasting for like 18 hours a day, I was starving myself.
18 hours? What's
And
that,
no
like
one
a 6-hour food
no
window?
one would dare be like, hey girl,
you eating today?
the
Where
hell?
is your lunch?
Because they're like, all right, that's leave her alone. Like she's,
Yeah,
because
she
I
will
was so
snap.
in it. I was like, no, I'm right. This is,
I've listened to the
I look
podcast. I've
good.
read the books.
I'm decaying from the inside out, but I look good.
I'm actually literally wasting away.
I'm withering away.
But I feel like too, managing stress is just like huge. So rather than, I guess, trying to control your stress through foods, using other tools, whether it's like going for a run or going for a sauna or having that ocean swim, and just making sure that you're managing your stress effectively rather than trying to control your stress through that food and feeling as though a good day is like literally starving yourself.
Yeah. And that's why I think can be a little tricky with like what I eat in a day. Things like those types of content can be tricky.
Because it does create that comparison. Because like also too, whenever like on the questionnaire form that people fill in when they come in and have a consult, it asks like, can you please like fill in like a snapshot of like what you eat? And it's essentially like a 3-day meal plan. Those are freaking perfect. Like no one is writing on there that they're eating chocolate. No one's writing on there that they've had like a bag of chips. Like it's actually crazy how immaculate people's meal plans are when they're like writing them out. Yeah, exactly. So I just kind of feel like too, think of that when they're posting the what I eat in a day. It is literally their best day.
Yeah.
It's not like they're eating that they went to Macca's or they stopped and got some hot chips or they had a wine. Like I never see that in people's what I eat in a day.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's very similar to the conversation we had about with our skin. You know, when I look at my friends, I would never think, oh, she's looking like she put on weight. Or I just look at my friends and think, oh my God,
she is
you are
looking
perfect.
gorgy,
I love you. You look stunning. So we need to kind of have that mentality back on ourselves.
Yep. No, I agree. Tell me, Em, what are we leaning into this week?
I know by the time this goes live, it's going to be old news, but I'm diving into Dua Lipa's wedding. Like I think I'm one more conversation away from Jack breaking up with me about Dua Lipa. Like I was sitting on the couch
actually
last
wants
night.
to be a throuple with Dua Lipa.
I love her. I was like, oh my God, Dua Lipa's dad. He's like, I don't care. I don't care. I was like, please, someone listen to me.
My friend Amber's obsessed with Dua Lipa as well. Maybe I
Can
need
we
to
connect?
like
Can
make
we
a
connect?
group chat with you guys so
We
you
need
guys
it.
can discuss all things Dua.
We need a group. Dua Lipa.
Absolutely.
addicts.
I'm not in with the Dua content, but I'm keen
You're
to
here
jump
for it.
in.
You'll
Yeah,
listen.
I'm
You'll
here for
listen.
it. I'm
What
up
are you
for
listening-
anything.
Okay, well, what are you leaning into, darling?
I am leaning into Liquid Locks hair serum. So I have actually been using this product for the last 6 months, and my hairline, like I used to have like quite a strong M hairline. Like I'd never wear my hair back in like a slick back or like a high pony plait. And I have been putting the hair serum in most days. It's like a serum, so it's not oily. And my hairline is freaking
Girl, your hair's beautiful.
Yeah, it's
Okay,
so nice
Liquid
and long.
Locks. What if Dua Lipa uses it? Maybe we'll send her some. But can we talk about slick back buns? Because I have been wearing my hair out more because my hairdresser's like, you can't keep doing slick back buns.
It is a snapping.
And I had a slick bun, I think it was yesterday, and I was like driving. I was like, oh, I got like my head is pounding. And I was like, hang on a minute. Took my slick bun and I was like, this wave of relief. I was like, my hair is slicked to the gods. Like,
Your
I need
hair
to
always looks so good in a slick back
So
though.
I'm leaning out of slick buns. And I love them.
And
It just
hair
like,
out.
it's a little natural facelift, but I got to stop it.
Have you seen actually that that TikTok where she like puts the plaits under here and then ties them back tight, so then it gives her that snatch look, but then she leaves her hair down? Genius.
Incredible.
Genius.
You know what's so funny? Like, boys barely brush their teeth to go out for the day. We are like, okay,
so many steps.
All right. Well, thank you so much for listening. And I hope you enjoyed this one. We hope that if you are going through a bit of a tough time at the moment,
Reach out to a friend.
We are your
have
big
that
sisters. You can reach
conversation.
out. Yeah. But yeah, thanks, guys.
Bye.